Good evening. Welcome to the 12-Man podcast, live on Facebook, on the Reds, Spotify, Amazon, and for the first time, happy to say, with TalkSport. We are part of their fan network, and we will be for the foreseeable future. So give yourselves a pat on the back, chaps. Go on. You got me, Steve Jackson. I'm your host for the evening. Mr. John Donovan's with me. Evening.
Now then, how are you doing?
I'm good. Injury update, how are we doing?
I'm at the hospital tomorrow. Hopefully get some more movement put in the leg brace. And it just helps the eventual full recovery, hopefully.
Good. Happy days. Because we did get a glimpse of you on Friday. Well, I did. I got a glimpse of you on Friday in the brace. You're getting there. You're getting about, which is good.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. Obviously, I come to see you off on the bus. Aye. And my brother was travelling with you, so it was his birthday the day before, so I got him a drink. Had a drink with him. So yeah, it's the reason you saw me.
Yeah, good trip.
Is there a time scale on your return, John?
Yeah, me and Darren Linehan are making our June appearance. No, I've no idea yet, John.
Wow.
I'm not gonna take any chances. You know, but a man of my age has got to listen to what the doctor says. So yeah, that's all I'll be doing.
Well, the recovery rate for a 21-year-old's not too bad. So there's a date in May where hopefully you'll be back fully fit by then.
I would love to think so. Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Cheers.
Well, I'll second that. If I need to piggyback you up Wembley way, I've said it for weeks. I absolutely will. So bring it on. Happy days. Mr. Jacob Jervis with us.
Jacko, I'll be going like Brian Potter up Wembley way if I have to. You know.
Oh God. No, actually, I want that. I'd rather you just dressed up like that, to be honest. That'd be the one. Mr. Jacob Jervis with us. Evening, Jacob.
Evening, you alright?
You alright? Passed your theory yet?
It's rebooked for the 25th of April.
Oh, there you go.
Good luck.
Johnny's after the Norwich game.
Cheers.
No pressure.
Next week we'll be holding road signs up and you've got to identify them. So there you go. It's just a bit of a practice for you.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yes. Good luck.
Yeah. We're going to put one on Travis's shirt for tomorrow night. No entry.
Yes. And then one in the front of the box. Stop. Not hammer time. And we've also got Mr. John Cutler with us. Evening, Cut.
Evening, gentlemen. We all right?
We're good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Good. All the better for seeing you. So, we're going to talk. We're going to talk Blackburn. We're going to talk Leeds. We're going to talk Millwall. And we're going to talk, in between the Blackburn talk, there's going to be something that will pop out that I saw on Facebook. I'm going to say Facebook because I'm pretty sure I saw it on there. Friday night about Tommy Conway. And I just want to get the guys' opinions on it. So, when you start listening and you hear the question, I'm sure the comments will flood in. But before we start, more importantly, as always, are we all right?
Good.
All good.
Very
all
well.
Good.
Good. Right, Kutz, I'll start with you because you are one that preaches this all the time. Team came out Friday, 9-letter word, unchanged. We happy?
Over the moon. I'm never going to change my opinion. If you're performing in that shirt, you keep that shirt. I don't care who you are. You could be Janino for me. The player, it sends out the wrong message. If they're performing well and they're getting took out, you're not going to put it all in training because you know you're going to lose your place. Brilliant. I heard Maddo saying that he'd have brought Vandenberg back. As much as I like Rav, not for me. Borges and Houghton have been outstanding. We've been winning games. We've been picking up points. You don't change it. Not for me. I'd have been on here criticising if Michael had done that, to be honest.
Well, funny enough, you mentioned that because Michael Carrick obviously spoke before the league game tomorrow night. He did say, didn't he? He was tempted to bring in Vandenberg for Friday, but it was true testament to how Johnny Howson was playing. So there you go. You've got someone backing you. Obviously, the gaffer agrees with what you're saying.
If he'd have took Howson out, I'd have been fuming.
Yeah,
Absolutely fuming.
Yeah, I would have been as well. He's been an absolute man mountain, and I'll talk a little bit more about him a little bit later. But John, come to you. Were you happy with the team, unchanged?
Yes, I was. Yeah. You couldn't make any changes unless there were any fitness or injury worries. But yeah, I was happy with the team.
Jacob, full house.
Yeah, same goes. Happy.
That was easy, wasn't it? Man, a few words. Happy days. Well, we were happy. I say a busload of us obviously made the trip down there. We were all very happy. It was pretty much what I expected. I didn't want anything to change. Why change it when we found a little formula that's working at the moment? I know there's a couple of players out of position, such as Johnny Howson, Neto Borges, but we're getting straight into the game cuts. I mean, was it a minute in, if that? Tommy Conway turns into prime Paul Gascoigne, flips Danny Bath inside out, and pings it pretty much top corner past Ainsley Pears. I don't think it gets much more perfect than that, does it?
Outstanding. I've mentioned a few times with goals we've scored this season. If that was scored in the Premier League, you'd be seeing it over and over again on Sky Sports News. Pundit to be eulogising about the bit of skill from Conway, because that was absolutely sublime. It was brilliant, excellent to watch. And the best thing about it is, I remember going back a few years ago when we played City away, and what was it, centre forward who absolutely turned company inside out, but just missed the chance. Tomlin, yeah. Where this would have been the same, would have been gutted if it hadn't went in. What a goal that was! Outstanding. Enough to get most of us out of our seat, and absolutely fantastic. Brilliant goal. Brilliant start.
I was out my seat, across other seats. Yeah, all over the shop. Yeah, that away end went absolutely ballistic. You see, I was right behind it as well. It's usually just give me the pound treatment. That's nice. So I've just, I was right behind it. Pinged, unbelievable finish. John, did you get you out your seat?
No, it didn't. But it made me a bit excitable. It was a great move. As involved, Iheanacho involved, and then when Iheanacho played it to Conway, he done the flick around Danny Bath onto his left foot, and he smashed it past Pears. It was you couldn't have wished for a better start, and another quality goal. We've scored quite a few good goals, both individual and team goals, and that goes down as a good team goal. Good build-up, excellent finish, brilliant start.
And just before I go back to Tommy Conway, Jacob, I'll come to you because John mentioned that Iheanacho. Another Iheanacho contribution. I know obviously he contributes in the second. We'll come to that in a little bit, but he's really starting to find his feet in this team now. He's settled into a position he's happy in. The movements around him. The touch is there, the pass is still there, and the ball, I suppose, too. Conway was bang on the money, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's definitely more involved in the last couple of games. He seems to be showing for the ball a lot more. He does look a bit more mobile than perhaps he did in the previous games. I still think he's a bit lethargic and slow sometimes on the ball, a couple of loose passes and stuff. Whether that's concentration or fitness, I don't know. But definitely an improvement for me, Nacho, definitely.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's started to get stuck in now, which is really good, And you can see the difference as well. He wants the ball a bit more. The confidence is starting to fall a little bit. He's not shying away from getting that ball. But I'll just go back to Tommy Conway briefly. Disclaimer, this is where the question comes in. So I saw something on the way home Friday night. Obviously, there was a lot of uproar in January, wasn't there, when Iheanacho came in. How was he the replacement for Latte Laugh? And it was made, what if we had the replacement for Latte Laugh all along? And it was actually Tommy Conway. Because we were fully expecting Latte Laugh to go in August. He practically up sticks and gone before he bolted into his car and drove down to Cardiff. So we had a few more months out of him. Now he's gone. Conway's got back into the team. He's starting to score. He's starting to contribute and link the play together. Have we seen the reason why we've bought Tommy Conway? Was he actually the full replacement for Latte-Laff overall? Who wants to start with that?
I will. Well, I think he was a target. Whether Latte-Laff was staying or going. He's 22 only. He was playing well at Bristol City. He's a different type of forward to Latte-Laff, but I was pleased that he overtook him in the scoring charts on Friday night, because it can play on a striker's mind if he's not the top goal scorer, and the top goal scorers left us 2 months ago. But now he's surpassed him. His game is different to Latte-Laff, and who was a big miss. But what I like about Tommy Conway is that he's a team player. Some forwards are very selfish, and they'll just look to promote themselves, take every chance themselves. But we've seen with Tommy Conway, he'll play others in, even if he's got a good chance himself. So he's selfish when he has to be, but he's a team player also. He works so hard. He never gives in, and the joy on his face and how he celebrates other players in the team scoring, it's infectious. It's brilliant. He's such an important part to the sort of unity of the team. He's going to be a good player for us for a number of seasons, in my opinion.
Yeah, Cuts, come to you. Can you see why he's been mentioned like that? 12 goals in 30 now for Tommy Conway. He's starting to get into his own little rhythm. I say, as John rightly said, he has passed the Latte-Laff in the scoring charts. But can you see why people are starting to make that, not assumption, but come towards that little bit of a conclusion that he actually is the replacement for Latte-Laff that we were looking for?
I mean, it seems like a long time ago, but I remember at the start of the season when we were disputing between us whether Conway should be starting or Laff. So I see a lot of similarities in the games, to be honest. I think they both work the channels really hard to try and get him behind. I think we defend from the front with both of them, because Laff used to work his socks off and Conway is exactly the same. I see a lot of similarities. It might be a bit controversial, but I actually think Conway is calmer in front of goal than ever Laff was. We saw him miss numerous really, really good chances this year where it seemed like Laff was snatching at the ball. I think Conway is more composed, to be honest. And what did we pick him up for? 4 to 5 million. We sold Laff for 20 plus. I don't think there's that much of a gap between the two players, to be honest. And if anything, I think Conway could be at least as good as him, if not better, going forward. I think he's been an excellent signing by the club, and I can't praise Conway highly enough. What I want to see is grit and determination and players working hard. And you can't get anyone working harder than him, because he reminds me of Watmore as well, who used to run his socks off for 60 minutes, put everything into the game. I can't praise Conway highly enough. And like I say, I think he's a good finisher as well when he gets chances.
Yeah, I do as well. He's really starting to, like I said, coming into his own. I've got to agree with you. I do think he's a bit calm in front of goal. Like he's already thought about how he's going to fit. Latte-Laff was a bit, I'll sort it when I kind of get there kind of thing. Conway just knows, he's like, well, I get played into that position, I know where I'm going to put the ball. I just know where I'm going to do it. And that's the kind of number 9 he is. So I completely agree with where you're coming from. Jacob, obviously you're the man with the stats and everything behind you. Agree, disagree?
No, I think Conway's a very good player. I think it was nice to have obviously both of them as options, but I think it's give Conway the opportunity to just say, right, it's your spot, there you go, to take your opportunity. And I think that's what he's done. I think he's got a knack for being in the right place at the right time. You've seen him arrive in the box at the right time throughout the season. So yeah, I think Conway, you can't ever fault his efforts. He's got a decent goals return, and there's still a few matches to play. Hopefully, a few more. And I think, I think Conway. I'm happy with Conway up front. Put it that way. I'm confident going into every game, thinking he could nick a goal. So yeah, I think that's always helpful if you've got a striker that you believe's got a goal in them, and I think Conway does.
As good as he's been, I don't think we've seen the best of him yet because he's had a few niggling injuries where he's been out a couple of games. Now he's getting a run of games, getting fitter and fitter and fitter. Although he's done really well, I don't think we've seen the best of him. I think there's more to come. And like Jacob just said there, what we've got left, 6 games, hopefully more. We could see a real boom from him at the end of the season.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a point I was going to make about the number of games, he's missed through injury. So yeah, it's a good return considering the amount of minutes played. So I'm hoping for the rest of the season he stays injury free. And I don't know whether you'll have noticed, Jacko, but he's probably been the player that I've picked on to be our anytime goal scorer. Most in our predictions, he's the player because, well, you can't put your house on him, but he gives us a good return.
Yeah, please don't put your house on stuff, please.
Just make one point as well. After the first goal on Friday night,
yes,
he's 22-year-old Tommy, and he went up to a far more experienced player in Iheanacho and was pointing in his face. They're building up a relationship. It's like he was saying to him, "We've practiced this in training. It's worked. That's exactly what we want." They're going to get better and better the more times they play together. And I thought that was great of Conway to do that. In front of the cameras, knows everyone's watching. He's giving Iheanacho his due for the ball that he played. So that's another plus point for me.
Yeah, that's it.
I think if you notice the team celebrations at the end as well, there was quite a few team members pushing Tommy Conway to do the 3 fist pump salute. He was a bit reluctant, but he's obviously a very popular member of the squad. And from interviews with Michael Carrick in the local press, he said, that around the dressing room, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. He seems like a bit of a character, so that's good. It just builds team spirit, bonds the players together, and just builds unity, which is what a successful club it thrives on.
It's a good word you use there, unity, because I would say, I think I mentioned it last week, I'll go back to Bristol City when there was scenes at the end of the game that weren't, it wasn't great for the football club. But since that moment, I think there's been a real shift change, not just in work rate on the pitch. I think celebrations together, people pointing each other out for assists. And I think that could be a huge thing going forward over the next, what I hope is 9 games. I think it's massive, absolutely massive, that they all seem to be reading off the same hymn sheet.
No, you're absolutely right.
You don't get teams who have splits, who have players who don't get in. It's very rare you get teams like that who are successful. So yeah, it's part and parcel of a successful team, and it looks like we've got a great spirit in our team at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do. Yeah, absolutely. It's the second game in a row as well. Because he did that against Derby, didn't he? He actually scored the goal, and he was like pointing at him then, saying, you kind of deserve this. He's been coming. We've seen the efforts there. So I'd say a couple of comments have come on through as well. Obviously, Cass mentioned there he's made a good captain in the future. He's bringing everyone together. I completely agree with that as well. I think he is bringing the squad together. He's got a really good relationship with Hackney as well. I've noticed that. And Jack's just said there he's got a bit of arrogance about him as well, which is something I really want with a striker. I love a bit of arrogance, to have the confidence in front of goal. Yeah, I will score that. There's no ifs or buts. You don't want a striker that's a bit iffy in front of goal. He doesn't know if he is going to score or not. He's got the full confidence. He will put it in the back of the net each time, and I love that. Absolutely love that. And it really will. It'll help us go forward. It really will. So there's the first goal. Before I could even get my breath back and get back to my seat, after Jack and James absolutely piled on me, we played beautiful flowing football again. It's something I mentioned last week, Cut. can we take advantage of their situation? And you both looked at me and you both went, no. I feel, because I mean, I was in the stage, and straight away, as soon as the goal went in, I didn't expect to score early, by the way. The atmosphere changed like that. It was gone. Their fans were straight away wanted this, that, and the other out. Perfect seeing Rudy Gestede getting called out was great, but then we flowed around them again. We just, you can see the players in the middle going calm, reset, start again. And then the second goal came, and quite funny, halfway away, and didn't even know it was in for a good few seconds. I mean, I didn't. I was like, is that in? Then I saw Ilian Jr. running away. And another one cuts. Ilian Jr., he's starting to fit into a position we didn't expect at all at left back, but he just looks right at home.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week that he's improving every week, Ilian Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it since, but it's a shame that they'll probably have took that goal off him. People can talk about Iheanacho and say it was an easy pass, but at the end of the day, it's an assist. I don't care. The weight of the ball was perfect for him to hit it, and then it went. And like you said, there was limbs beyond the away end. And we mentioned last week where you asked if the things going on behind the scenes would matter, and I said, well, it wouldn't matter if Blackburn scored the first goal. But after we scored, after 80 seconds, that chanting started, and that was only a plus. That's a massive plus point for us. We've seen it at the Riverside when we've got on players or managers' backs. It doesn't help the team, but yeah, it was great to see. Once the second goal went in, I was never worried after that, to be honest, because I know they've been in a bad run of form, but we made them look terrible in the first half. So all credit to us for going there and doing what we all wanted us to do, get an early goal, get their fans on their backs. It worked out absolutely perfectly, to be honest. If we'd written a script, that's how we would have done it.
Yeah, it was perfect. And first 8 minutes, absolutely perfect. I've just checked, by the way, the goal's still with him, so he's still got it, which is really good. But yeah, John, did you sense that as well when the second went in? It just felt like it was like their fans had given. They knew 2 down so early on. It was like their focus had turned. It was away from the game. They thought, well, we've lost that game. Let's do what we've come here to do, and basically just protest away for the rest of the game, because that seemed like how it was when we were in the ground.
Yeah, it was a dream start, and over the TV, obviously you could hear the away fans cheering and singing, and you could hear the boos from the home end. So yeah, it was the worst possible start for their team, which just angered them even more. But for us, it was a dream start, and again, it was another decent move, and Iheanacho got an assist. Fair enough, it was just a little 5-yard ball into the path of Ilian Jr., but he was there. He could have turned and took a shot himself, but he saw that Ilian Jr. was shaping up in a decent position, so he laid the ball to him, and we got that slice of luck. That slice of luck that we've been talking about most of the season. Because if you don't have shots, you're not going to score. With shots that can go indirect, they can go in off a deflection, they can bounce out off a defender, off the keeper. We put the rebound in, just get shots on goal. So yeah, that was a superb start, and I was pleased for Ilian Jr. because some fans wrote him off before he'd even kicked the ball. He had a slow start, but bloody hell, give somebody time. Just please give our players time. I know he's on loan, so he's not sort of like technically our player, but he's got our shirt on. Just give him a little bit of time to settle. I hope he goes on and makes that position his own for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, I was talking with Jack in the stadium second half time, and we agreed we could probably, if we wanted to, we could probably ask and see if we're going back next year. Give him another season. Seems like this season was a bit broken up. Obviously, going to Bologna, coming to us. Give him a full season in at one club. Nice stable atmosphere, somewhere where he could develop and really kick on. Because he's still only a young kid. We've got to remember that. He's still got a lot of development to do.
He's in the England under 21 squad, so it's not just our recruitment team that have seen something in him. You know that. So yeah, give him time.
Exactly, give him time. Jacob, obviously, I haven't asked you about the second goal. I suppose you were. I mean, you went on last week. Obviously, we spoke about Lynn Junior. What have you made of Lynn Junior's improvement the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think he's someone that could potentially benefit us again over this run of games where they've had a bit of an upturn, uplift in form, whatever you want to call it. And I think he impressed me defensively as well. He's got the pace to go up and down, and obviously, if you've got fullbacks that can bomb down the line and get back in position for a full 90, it is good. And I think Illan Junior offers the attacking threat, and I've been impressed with him defensively. Yes, I don't think they worried us too much, but then again, the last 20-25 minutes there was pressure on us, pressure on our goal, and they seemed to deal with it relatively well. So I think it's, obviously we want people to hit the ground running when they join the club, but I do think sometimes, not peaking too early has sometimes its own benefits to it as well. Again, there's a bit of good pressure on some of them now, like Iheanacho. You've had your bedding in time, in junior. You've had your 10 games to settle, and now this is what we've got you in for. Get us in those playoffs, and let's have a good go at it.
That's it. I took a bit of notice of Illan Junior in the second half because I thought, I mean, there was, apart from one, maybe two saves in the second half, I still thought we were relatively comfortable. I didn't feel like they really pushed us too much, which is really good. I know that Hashi came on and caused us a few problems. But before go on, Coach, before I move on.
I was just going to say that he's both mentioned in the second half we came under not a massive amount of pressure, but a little bit of pressure where the keeper was forced to make one or two half-decent saves. He wasn't overstretched. But I'm going to mention him again because everything he does well. A couple of times he came for balls in the box.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother punching it. He catches it cleanly. He hasn't had it. Well, I'm not going to say it, but everything he's done for me up to now, he's looked absolutely excellent as a goalkeeper. And I just want to mention that, although he doesn't have a lot to do, what he does very, very well. I'm really impressed with Travers, me. I am.
Yeah, I think he's had a really good launch spell. Had a bit of I say, slightly shaky start. There's a couple of things at Sheffield United I thought he might have done a bit better. But apart from that, he's been faultless for me. I think he's been really, really, really good. So, but the only negative. Sorry, go on, mate.
There has been. Sorry, I was just about to say there has been some games when he's been called upon quite a lot.
Yes.
We've had severe spells of pressure, and he's held us firm. So yeah, last few games, I'll agree with you, John. There hasn't been a great deal for him to do, but on the times when he has been called upon, he's done really well. So I think we've always said it on this podcast. It's one of the key positions. If the defence are comfortable and confident that they've got a good man behind them, it makes their job a little bit easier.
That's it. It's one part of the spine. Every team should have a good spine, and he's one position that is key. You're absolutely right. And we've done really well bringing in Mark Travers. He's a full international. He's played at the top level. So yeah, he's been really good, really beneficial for our centre halves as well. But one negative from the first half, before I talk a little bit about the second half, Neto Borges. Obviously, he got clobbered by Maktar Gay, who for me should have been sent off. I thought he's just been booked. And he went through Borges. I thought there's a question to be had there. I just felt Cuts. It was the wrong time for him. He tried. He came back on. He gave it a go, but you could tell when he went back down, he was so frustrated that. If he knew he was in a good run of form, he was comfortable in the team, he was happy in the team, and unfortunately, a little setback. Hopefully, it's just a minor setback. Is going to pull him back out of it again.
Yeah, as you lads all know, I was never the biggest fan of him, but I'll praise players when they're putting in the performances, and he's been really good at centre half. I agree with you. That centre forward knew exactly what he was doing with that tackle. I thought it was naughty, to be fair. But yeah, let's hope he's not out for too long. Look, we're lucky enough that we've got Ralph back. Personally, I don't think Borges will make tomorrow. I think he was struggling. He tried, like you said, gallantly to try and carry on. But yeah, I agree. It was a naughty tackle, that.
It was because I think did you get mentioned on Sky, John, as well?
Yeah, it was he caught Borges with his arm across his face. Pretty easy being a yellow. And then Borges, as he landed, he sort of turned on his ankle, and that's what caused the injury. But you're right, it should have been a second yellow, and he should have been off. But one thing that I did notice, I don't know whether you will have noticed at the stadium, Steve, was that after he'd come back on, tried to play on, and he realised he couldn't, went back down. He didn't go down the tunnel straight to get treatment or to get it strapped up. He sat amongst the other squad members. So I thought from that it wasn't too serious. I thought if it was serious, he would have got down, got ice pack on it, strapped it up. But he went and sat with the rest of the team. Now, what happened at half time, I don't know. Whether or not he got some attention at half time, I don't know. But we'll see. See what tomorrow brings. See whether he's back starting or whether or not it's Vandenberg who replaces him.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, he was with the players at full time. He had a bit of a limp, obviously, understandably. I think Borough put a video out, and usual the players walking back to the dressing room, and he was the last one to walk back, and he had a bit of a limp then. So, but he didn't look too serious, like you said. If it was massively serious, he'd be still strapped up, and he'd still be, taking care of it.
Sometimes put a boot on, don't they? Just precautionary, But yeah, fingers crossed. Then again, it's only been 2 or 3 days, so they might not risk him because obviously they've got Rav back, so they might not risk him because obviously we've got 6, potentially 9 games to go in the season, and we'll need all players possible.
One game at a time first. That's all I've got to say. One game at a time. But no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was a bad tackle. It was a bad tackle, and we all felt that in the away end as well. He'd been done. He definitely got done there. So, but yeah, we've got Rav to come back in, which is a massive, massive plus. He came on and just looked comfortable. As usual. Howson, how much more can we talk about Johnny Howson? I'm being serious now because the guy is an absolute freak. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. He doesn't seem to age, get tired. His decision making is second to none. There wasn't a time where I thought, "Oh God, what's Howson doing now in that game?" He was just brilliant. And for someone that's not a centre half, I mean, if you watch that game for the first time, you think, "We're a centre half's not bad for 36." Unbelievable player.
He was key. He was key in that game. To us controlling it once we got the second goal. I know there were chances in the second half we should have extended our lead. We missed 2 or 3 chances where we outnumbered the defenders, but we didn't take the right option. But throughout the game, his experience was key. Everybody talks about game management and that it should come from the touchline. Well, I believe it's also very important that the players on the pitch know how to slow the game down, kill the game, go down at the right time, work the referee. And I'm sure, I think that's improved since Howson's returned. And I'm sure his experience is telling players, what to do, where to go. If there's nothing on, just keep hold of the ball. We're 2-0 up, we're cruising here. Just keep hold of the ball. And I think we did control the game. from about 15, 20 minutes. You know,
Agreed.
I was never worried that we were going to relinquish that lead. I have been in other games, but I wasn't. Now, that was down to us doing well, doing the right things, defending in numbers when we had to.
Yeah.
But it's also the fact that, you know, we stopped Blackburn. We stopped Blackburn doing getting balls in dangerous positions. We were clever. We were clever. It was great to see.
It was. It was. Yeah, it was a proper away performance. We took control of the game really early, stamped our authority, got full control of the game by going 2 up so quickly, and then after that, yeah, they had a few Chances. Cantwell had a chance, or Hashi had a couple of chances, but apart from that, we should score 3 or 4. To be honest, I think if you want to really start picking at summit, just the decision making in the final third in the second half. There was a couple of positions where we were 2-on-1, 3-on-2, and we just made a bit of a hash of it. But apart from that, you can forgive that of 2-0. If it's 0-0, you're screaming. You're absolutely screaming. But 2-0, you're not bothered. It's fine. You move on. There's some things to work on, but it just shows how what kind of position we're in. Every player was chipping in. Even Whittaker came on 20 minutes to go. If you haven't seen it already, I think there's a TikTok thing Middlesbrough put out. The bit of skill he did round 4 players. Oh my days! We stood there in the stand and went, "Oh my god! Look at the state of that! Unbelievable!" His calmness. I think you mentioned Cuts, didn't you? His calmness on the ball. He just looks comfortable, and when you got a player that just makes it look as easy as that, you know there's something about him. And yeah, that piece of skill. I was in absolute awe. I couldn't believe how good it was.
I mean, we've paid a decent fee for that, lad.
Yeah.
And you've seen some posts on social media or what's in, what have we done, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's something about him, mate.
Yeah, there is.
I think there's definitely a good player in there. And I think he's another one that's only going to get better with time. I'm quite sure we've made a good signing in that lad. Now, whether we see the best of him this season or whether it's going forward next season, but like you said, hopefully there's still 9 games to go this year. I think he's a player that could make a massive impact for us. I like parts of what I see about his game. I think he's good on the ball. I think his work rate's pretty good. Control's good. He doesn't mind having a dig from outside the box. Hasn't gone in for him yet, and it hasn't worked yet. But I think there's definitely a player in there, mate.
Oh, there's definitely something there. He's unbelievable. Like I say, I screamed to sign him in January. I thought, get that boy in. If we can get him in, he's a adequate replacement to anything we need on the wings, possibly even up front if we really need to. And he's proven it. His touch, his pass, his range of passing as well. He looks the real deal. He looks comfortable now. He looks settled in. He looks a bit nervous at the beginning. So, which goes to show it probably is his big move. This probably is his big chance to make the step up from Plymouth. No disrespect to Plymouth, obviously, but
we've had players in the past who, shall we say, the fans didn't warm to immediately. We've mentioned him tonight, Johnny Howson. We've mentioned him tonight. He didn't start his career at Borough with man of the match performances, but we need to be patient. Really do. Morgan Whittaker is our player. We know that he's decent in the Championship because we've seen it against us. We've seen it against other teams, and we know that he can do it. But moving from Plymouth to the northeast, it's a big move. I mean, give players time to settle in. Don't expect miracles immediately. Just be patient. He'll come good.
He will. You're absolutely right. I haven't spoken to Jacob in a while, so I'm going to finish this segment with you and ask for your man of the match from Friday night. I know there's a few candidates. I know Sky went for Hackney, which Conway looked very ticked off by. But I'll start with you, Jacob, man of the match.
I think I'm going to agree with Sky, actually. I think I'm going to give it to Hackney. I've criticised Hackney throughout the season. defensively and showing sometimes lacking a bit of grit. And Friday was a time where I think you could say he certainly put a foot in. He did the ugly side of the game much better. Obviously, Morris complemented it well, but I think Hackney did his usual good stuff on the ball. I seen a stat today that he's played the most forward passes across. Is it in Europe or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
So that shows the type of play we've got in our hands with progressive passing. We just needed a little bit more going the other way, and I think Friday we've seen that, and that shows Hackney's level, and that's what we need out of him again for the running. And there's no question about it. If Hackney plays to his potential, we've got one of the best midfielders in the league on his day.
Yeah, completely right. See, I told you he had stats. Told you. JD, I'll come to you.
I was going to go with Howson, but on reflection, and not just because of the superb goal he scored, but I just thought Tommy Conway's contribution was brilliant, as was Hackney, as was Howson. Morris played well. So yeah, there was a few candidates, but I'll go for Tommy Conway.
Okay. Clutch, come to you.
I think this shows how well we're playing at the moment as a team, because 3 people have given man the matches and they're all 3 different ones. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go for Morris. I love watching. He does all the hard yards. He does we'll call it the ugly side of the game. But me, growing up as a fan from Mason Park, I always loved grit, determination, someone who'll get the foot in, do the ugly side of the game. I absolutely love Morris, me. And I thought on Friday night he was outstanding. Hackney was amazing as well. The two together are really, really good. We've got to remember Morris is coming back he's been out for a decent spell. He's getting fitter and fitter every week. Going forward, he's huge for this football club. Another player, scouting, deserve a massive pat on the back, because he is some player in. Good enough for me to play in the Premier League at what he does. I'm giving it to Morris. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, it was probably his best game since he came back from injury for me, to be honest. I think he's had a bit of a shaky few games, but he really did take command alongside Hackney in midfield. Go on, mate.
Tell you what, as well, he took some nasty knocks on Friday night as well, where his ankle twisted a couple of times. But to get up and continue to put in that performance, for me, it is everything about him I really, really like.
I did notice Morris on a couple of occasions when he received the ball on the edge of the box. He didn't waste any time. It was on the end of a couple of Blackburn attacks, and the ball fell on the edge of the box. He just lumped it upfield. I don't know whether or not he's being told to change the philosophy, because we all remember the Preston game where he played it back, and he's done it a couple of times where he's played it back, and we've ended up being in dangerous positions in our own box. But a couple of times he just spun on the ball, he just leathered it up the field, and that's about game management. That's about sort of like just getting rid of the ball, getting it in the other opposition half of the pitch, and then you can stop their attacks. So yeah, he done well on that occasion.
You mentioned earlier about Conway being a possible future captain of this football club. For me, that's the future captain of this football club right there, because playing around him, the players will love that he does all the ugly things and the dirty side of the game. Leads by example. I think he's the future captain of this football club.
Yeah, no, you're too injury prone, John.
No, you did right. You did right. Yeah.
But
I'm a bit hot-headed as well at times.
I know. I've seen it. But no. You mentioned there, Cuts. You 3 went for 3 different players. I'm going to throw a 4th in. I thought Evan Jr. again was absolutely superb.
It's good,
I thought he absolutely bossed that left-hand side. I can't massively disagree too much with Hackney getting man of the match from Sky. I thought he had a really good game. Him and Morris bullied the centre midfield of Blackburn at times. I know they took, like you said, they took a couple of nasty knocks, but they just rode them. They just got through them and stamped their authority again. But Ilin Jr., for someone that's not naturally a left back, made it look so easy and played so well. And to get a goal as well, brilliant. And plus, I wanted to be a bit different to the 3 years. So,
plus, what you've got to put into that as well, Steve. He was up against probably their main threat. Is it Tyrese Dolan?
Yeah,
who's a good player at this level, and Ilin Jr. kept him really quiet.
He did. Absolutely right. And yes, and that probably contributed to them not scoring on Friday night, to be quite honest, because I remember going there, was it last season or the season before? And he caused us all sorts of problems with Smolik. So yeah. Kept them quiet, gave their crowd something to sing about. Mainly agree with you said, it was great. And we came out with 3 points. Massive 3 points. And you put that with the results that happened again on Saturday. There's only one result that really went against us, with Bristol City beating Watford. But even then, it takes Watford a little bit out of the picture now. I feel like the playoff run, it's only between a few teams now. It's not as widely spread as it was, because Norwich got beat, Watford got beat. I know Millwall got a win. We'll talk about Millwall in a little bit, but I feel like it's definitely 2 from 4 now for me, unless something really drastic happens. But I asked these two, Jacob, last week, and they tried to convert me into a believer. 6 games left. You've seen the results the last couple of weeks. We're now 5th. We're not looking to get ourselves in. We're fully in. We are in now. Do we stay
in? Yes, I think we will. Again, I don't look. Again, me, forever the optimist. I'm still not fully convinced with the way we're necessarily playing in every single game over a 90. But what I am seeing is, I think we've developed the ugly side of our game much better in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is something I've been asking for a long time from Carrick and the team. So, maybe it sacrificed our football a little bit going forward, but that's what you've got to do. There was too many games throughout the season where they were just like basketball games. It was too end to end. There wasn't much control. We couldn't just sit in shape for 20 minutes, and that's what we did Friday. We just, second half, it was professional performance. We sat in, soaked a bit of pressure up, and hit them on the break, and still created good chances. So, yes, I think we'll stay in. I think our fixtures are okay. And I think, again, like Middlesbrough throughout the season, the rest of the teams are so inconsistent. West Brom I don't think West Brom are necessarily going to put more wins on the board than we are in the next 6. And I think Bristol City have got hard fixtures. And I think they're, as much as they've been good all season, I think they might just fall away towards the last few games. So yes, in a long-winded answer, yes.
No, well said.
Well said. No, that's why I let you go. And you mentioned there, the last 6 games, West Brom. West Brom have got Bristol City and Coventry next 2. That's their week this week.
Well, I thought that because whoever wins it, the other one's losing points, aren't they? Or if they draw, it's only 1 each. So I think that's also another positive. Is a lot of the teams around us are playing each other. So if somebody wins, obviously it's not good for the other one. So I think that's why if we could even just be average over the next 6 games and pick up a couple, 2 or 3 more wins, we'd probably be all right.
Well, you mentioned there. It's a question I'm going to quickly ask all 3 of you, and I want a short-winded answer, so don't give up too much oxygen with this one, because we did talk about this on the way home on Friday. How many wins would it take, do you think, to get us? Do you think, right, that'll be enough? I said 3. We get 3 wins, I think that'll be enough. I'm not saying we'll lose 3 games as well. I think there'll be like a draw or 2 in there. I think that'll be enough. Jacob, I'll start with you because you mentioned 2 or 3. How many wins would it take, do you think, to say, right, if we win that many amount of games, we'll definitely get him?
think 70 points will get you in the playoffs. So three wins and a draw. I think 70 will get what he is in there this year. Definitely. I know in other years it has been higher, but no, I think I reckon 67 to 70 points you're going to get in the playoffs this year.
So you're saying 3 wins. Well, I remember a couple of years ago we got 75 and didn't get in. So no, you're absolutely right. John Don, come to you. How many wins?
I think last week I said we'd 5 of the last 7, and we've won 1. So out of the last 6, I'm going to alter it slightly. I agree with you. I think win 3 and don't get beat by Coventry, and we'll definitely be there.
Yeah, it's looking like Coventry's going to be a huge game. Last game of the season, May away, bank holiday. Cuts, come to you.
3.
That was easy. There you go. That is your short-winded answer right there. Right there.
It's the first time I've ever listened to you when you say don't use too much oxygen. I thought I'll do it the right way.
There you go, see. 3. So I think we're all in consensus, aren't we? If we get 3 wins on the board, maybe get a draw in there. I think Jacob's total of 70 points. That'll get us in, won't it? I think that'll be the total will get us into the playoffs. And yeah, I don't fancy going to Coventry. I need something. I really don't. Been there before. Don't want that anymore. So, right, into the final 6 with 40 games down, 6 to go. Game 1 of them 6. The game Cuts looks forward to alongside Sunderland. Leeds United at home. How much are you looking forward to welcoming Leeds United to the Riverside on tomorrow night?
I absolutely can't wait. But although I wouldn't say our performances are as good as what I think we can be, but we're picking up points. Tomorrow, full house, big atmosphere. They need to come here and win. They're not going to sit back. And some of our best performances this season have been on the counter-attack. I think we're in for a rip-roaring game. And I absolutely can't wait for tomorrow night.
Rip-roaring. Brilliant. Yeah, I've never read that for years. I used to read that in the Sports Gazette in the pink. A rip-roaring tie at Ayson Park.
Well, we're educating the 2 young'uns, aren't we, John?
I know, yeah. No, you're right, John. You're right, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Don't worry, I got told about them sort of stories in the Gazette and that. So, but no, you're absolutely right. It's huge, isn't it? I mean, if you look at Leeds at the weekends, you know they really. How many points clear were they after Sheffield United away when they won 3-1? Someone said they were 8 clear.
8, yeah, it was 8. Yeah, it was mentioned I watched the game on TV, and yeah, it was mentioned 8 points clear at one point.
I'm not saying they've completely gone, but to drop to 3rd from 8 clear. JD, are we in for it tomorrow night? They're going to come at us with everything tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, John Cutler's right. They have to win. It's draws that's let them down, and that's why they've not lost that many, but they've had too many draws. So yes, they're going to have to. Their supporters, I think, and we're going to have to win tomorrow, which might help us. Yeah, I agree. It'll be a rip-roaring tie. Yeah, no, it'll be fantastic. I think it'll be end to end. The crowd will be up for it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I won't be there. I'll be still laid up, but yeah, nobody's going to disturb me watching that tomorrow.
No, you'll just disturbing the neighbours. When you hopefully get a couple of goals in, but it's going to be a massive night tomorrow night. Jacob, you mentioned there that too many draws for Leeds. You know, obviously they've made the change at the back. You know, you being a keeper, you know. They brought Carl Darlow in for the weekend. I think that's where they're going to stick with. Is that something, you know, we can capitalise on? You know, I remember Carl Darlow playing against us in August. Wasn't great. Conceded 3. I feel like their defence is probably their weak point. They're a bit like us. They like to overplay at the back, and they are prone to a mistake. I think with our press, we could probably get at them. Agree?
Yeah, I think it's one of them. The way Farker sets up his teams is their defence. He plays, you know, quite high. Their wing backs are really high up the pitch. I mean, Firpo scored a lot of goals from left back this season. He's always dangerous. It's one of them. I think if we, as John Cutler said, I think if we actually can sit in some form of shape and spring on them on the break, hopefully when Firpo is high, I think that could be our joy spot of where we get a little bit of joy tomorrow night. I think on the break we can definitely hurt them as we did in the cup game. Going back to 90-minute performances, I think that was probably only one of the only 90-minute performances of this season in that cup game away at Leeds. So yeah, I think there's potential to get at them. I think obviously they're on a bit of a rocky spell at the minute. They're still a good team. They'll still create chances. So I think we've got to limit them to few opportunities, because if we give them too many, they will win the game.
Yeah, I think the role of Ellen Jr. is going to be important. He's up against Dan James if he plays, obviously, and Dan James scored against Luton a goal very similar to what he scored in the league game against us. Cutting in on his left and tailing one into the far corner. A good goal, but that's what he's capable of on his supposed weaker foot. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting contest. So I hope Ellen Jr. sort of plays with confidence from his recent games and does well.
No, you're absolutely right. It's either going to be Dan James or William Onto, isn't it? It's going to be one of the two that's going to be on that wing. So, come on, coach, you've had a big grin on your face. Is it still rip roaring? Are you still giggling rip roaring?
No, I was just laughing at the joy spot. Here comes it.
well, we all like to touch the joy spot now and again, don't we?
It's when you said Firpo was high. I was like,
let's hope we can find it tomorrow, John.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Oh God!
But yeah, listen, people have talked about saying they'd accept a point tomorrow, but I'm going to counter this. If we beat them tomorrow, imagine the confidence boost that's going to give them players for this run-in, where we beat a team that are going for the top two in a massive game in front of a big crowd and a big atmosphere. It could be bigger than 3 points tomorrow for me. It's absolute massive game.
Well, I mean, you could say, I mean, Bristol City play West Brom tomorrow. A win tomorrow, we could be 6 clear of West Brom with 5 to go. That's huge. That could be pivotal. That could reduce, the 4 to 3. Like it could be. That's how big it could be tomorrow night. Do I think that'll happen? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go safe, but I'll tell you in a minute. I'll start with you, John Don. You've been the closest for a few weeks. Obviously, you got one up the other week. You nearly got one up Friday night. Score prediction, you had 2-1, unfortunately. Because me and Mick were actually talking about this on the way on. We're saying, did he say 2-0 or 2-1? I couldn't get on Sky Bet to check what I put on. Obviously, there's other betting platforms available. But I'll start with you, JD. Score prediction, anytime scorer tomorrow night, Leeds United.
I'm gonna stick to 2-1 to the Borough and Tommy Conway, anytime goal scorer.
I'm going to say him again. Unchanged. The Borough might go unchanged. John Don's going unchanged. Perfect. Cuts, come to you. Get that jackpot machine out. What we're going for?
You're going to laugh me out the water here. I'm going for 4-2 Hackney.
Hey, even though it's a pound bet we put on, we'd have won the polls if that comes up tomorrow.
We've just mentioned all their attacking threat. Got to remember the attacking players we've got as well. It's going to be a noisy game for them.
Yeah, John, if we win that game 4-2, it'll be absolutely fantastic, and I can imagine what the Riverside will be like.
Well, it's on telly. You'll be able to see it and you'll hear it. Jacob, come to you.
Well, for anybody who watches this regularly, I'm not going to match that level of optimism. But I thought I was being quite positive to predict 2-2. So I'm going to predict 2-2 and Hackney to score, and I'd be over the moon with a 2-2 draw against Leeds. So.
Optimistic 2-2. Fair enough. I'm going 2-0 Borough. Early goal, late goal. Take the pressure in between, catch them on the break to finish it right in front of the North Stand and watch it go absolutely potty when we get that second goal. Oh, yeah, gives you goosebumps. That's the thought. And I also think Bristol City will beat West Brom tomorrow night as well. So I think, in 26 hours' time, as we're talking now, we will be 6 clear with 5 to go. And from someone that was sat here a few weeks ago saying, not on your Nelly, will we be getting playoffs, I've now just said we'll be 6 clear of 7th. So
it's infectious, this optimism, Steve, I tell you.
It is. It is infectious. And I've full on caught the bug. And I mean, yeah. It's got to the point where I sat on Friday night on the way home and me and Pete went, we're going to Millwall, aren't we? Yeah. And I rang John straight away and went, can I have a seat for Millwall, please? So I'm going to Millwall Saturday now. Luckily, I've got a very happy fiance that's happy for me to do so. Otherwise, I'd have been in big trouble. But speaking of Millwall, obviously we can't predict what kind of team's going to be out. They could be within 3 points of the playoffs tomorrow night. They've got a big game themselves. They go to Sheffield United away. Massive game for them. That but it's the type of game that Millwall tend to get a result. They do it all the time. They did it at Leeds. It's the kind of thing they do. Start with you, Jacob. Result Saturday.
1-0 Borough. 1-0. I'll go goal scorer. I'll go 1-0 Bergzog.
Oh, by the way, I didn't say my goal scorer for tomorrow night, did I? 2-0. I'm gonna match what most of you say. I think Hayden Hackney will get a goal. Yeah, I think he'll scream the place down. He'll love a goal against Leeds. So yeah, Hayden Hackney. There you go. 1-0 Borough for Saturday for Jacob. Cut, come to you.
6 goals in a week. 2-0. And I'm going to go for Hackney again.
Did anybody else, when he started with his 6, think, where's he going with this?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, 2-0. Fair enough. John, come to you.
Yeah, there's been some high scoring games at Millwall, hasn't there? But I'm just going to go 1-0, like Jacob, and Finn as our anytime goal scorer.
I'm gonna match the score, 1-0. I think we'll nick it, and it won't pay much. I won't care. Tommy Conway will get the winner at Millwall. I say that it's the kind of game you need a goal scorer to step up. That's the time you'll do it. And just like that, we are done, finished. Hopefully, this time next week, we'll have 2 games to talk about. We'll have 6 points on the board, like we've all seemed to have predicted, apart from Jacob, who went for an optimistic 2-2 draw with Leeds United. Go on, Cut, before we go.
We won't hopefully have 2 games to talk about. We definitely will have 2 games to talk about.
I meant to say 2 wins. Thank you very much for pulling me up on that. Yes, hopefully I have 2 wins to talk about. To be fair, if I calm myself down a little bit, 4 points would do me. 4 points would be huge from this week. If we can get through this week with 4 points, I think it would be massive. And we'd be well on the way. And a third of the way to our 3 wins that we possibly need. So, lads, have a good week. Enjoy your living room, the riverside, wherever you're going to watch tomorrow night and the weekend. Jacob, you going Saturday?
No, not going again. I've had a bit of
going again. Wow.
I've had a big patch of missing quite a few games. Just for different kind of reasons. I won't bore everybody, but no, I'll be back soon.
You'll be back next week, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
fair enough. I'll let you know what I'll let you all know what the trip to South London's like next week. And yes, to all you lovely people that have liked, subscribed, commented, got us to a position where we are. Thank you. And yeah, we'll talk again next week. Be seeing you up the Borough. Fingers crossed. Get into them.